Oh. Operator error. That was my fault. Sorry. Full responsibility on me. So sorry. I'm not even going to tell you what the problem was because it's super embarrassing.
The problem was that the...
It'll work or not.
Oh my god.
Up.
You'll never know what the problem was.
Let's forget this ever happens.
You'll never know.
Good.
We're going to start again.
Haunt my nightmares.
I will remind you.
I wish I knew sign language.
Did you see what was wrong? Did you see the problem? Yeah.
Oh god, no! Why?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday stream. I am Tom. That's Jamie. This is Dave. That is Lisa.
No, this is someone else.
No, this is Ed.
This is Ed. Yeah.
This is Ed.
Ed is on sound today. We are going to be going behind the scenes of the Impys ads that you saw during the Impys Awards earlier this year, which is now nearly 2 months ago.
Already.
Whoa, amazing.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah.
We are.
When it, yeah.
Dreaming Gamer says 3 legends on camera, 1 queen off camera. Nice.
I like that hierarchy.
Like that.
Legends
Nice.
and queens.
Yeah, legends and queens.
So,
Oh, I feel
yeah.
like,
Lisa's definitely.
Queen is kind of like a little.
That's what I'm saying.
Queen's all the way up there.
Yeah,
Queen is
yeah.
up there. Also, Tap Giles. I referred to you at the start of the stream as Tappy G. I don't know if you like that. Tell me if you
Can
don't.
we use that, basically? We really want to say that from
I will never call you that again if you do not like that.
I love that. That's
Yeah, you like
amazing.
that? Okay,
I love that.
Tappy G.
He says he, and I
Yeah,
don't know if that's
we'll-
confirmation or not.
Yeah,
Says
yeah.
his voice
That's
sounds so
confirmation.
pretty.
Yeah.
Tappy G.
G.
Tappy G. Excellent. Tappy G.
Nice.
Right. We are going to start. Which ad are we going to start with? Because I'll run it so people can see.
Cool.
Which one are we going to start with?
Cuthbert's Valentine's
Cuthbert's
album.
Valentine's album.
Oh, nice.
So to remind you, here is Cuthbert's Valentine's album thing.
This one goes out to all the QB lovers out there. Saucy serenades await you this Valentine's Day, including your favorites. No more tears. Holding it together will you. And the serenade of spring, let me be your cue. Also included 6 sides, 1 heart. Pre-order our entire stock and get a free t-shirt.
That was Cuthbert's album. I think that's my favourite one. I think they're all my favourite ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right, shall we dive in? And
Shall we?
have a look?
Let's get in there.
So, Jamie, you got some tips and tricks and all sorts.
Yeah.
If any of you have any questions about the ads, let us know in the chat.
And I'll do my
everyone's-
best.
Everyone's currently discussing Tap's nicknames now.
Tappy G. Yeah.
Well, Poe passed it now. It's like
Yeah.
Do we have consent
Tap the G Moni.
from Tappy G?
Tappy G, no. Sorry, Tappy G.
Whether you like it or not.
Cool, right, so this is the Cuthbert's Valentine's album.
It is.
Tappy G. Okay.
In all its glory. A complete mess, but
Behind the scenes.
yeah. Yeah, an
So I'll
actual
keep an eye out
full scene.
for questions, but I think you had a few topics you wanted to...
I did.
touch on.
Yeah. So the first thing, we're going to sneak into his bedroom. This is his actual bedroom. Yes, he has a poster of himself.
Yeah.
He's got quite the ego outside of like tutorials and stuff like that.
It's fragile, but it's there, right?
It is so there. Yeah. And the first thing, you may have noticed that when Cuthbert is playing a saxophone, he does it in quite a... don't know how to describe it. He does it with a lot of gusto, doesn't he?
In his unique Cuthbert way, there's no other
absolutely.
way.
And the way I did that was just using an action recorder to the controller, and then I just like held R2 and then keyframed it. So when he moves and you hold R2, he like holds the saxophone up a bit higher.
So I have to use the gesture of the...
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So if I play it here, I might... No. We'll try it. Oh, it's doing something else now. All right, that's the intro.
Yeah, the fade in.
Okay, yeah, we'll observe the fade in. Music for your ears. So now when he moves, there he goes.
Yeah. Oh, look, a little emitting.
Yeah, that's another cool
notes.
thing.
Yeah,
It
that's
actually
really cool.
emits the notes with the sound on from the instrument as well.
Oh, cool.
So it's
Nice
very
touch.
specific,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
specific. But,
Could you
yeah.
explain for the people in the audience why Cuthbert doesn't have a head in edit mode?
Because we just decapitated him. He's had his glory now, and now we're using his deceased remainder of his body. Yeah.
Wow.
Reanimating it, if you will.
Reanimating, yeah, I like it. I'm not sure if I can actually go into why he doesn't have a head in edit mode.
I think it's just because Cuthbert is just a cube. It's a figment of your imagination.
Nice.
There you go, sorted.
Boom.
And
Done.
Tap Giles was actually asking about the text, and like the
Oh, yeah.
scrolling text was all done in game as well, wasn't
It
it?
was, yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I did it a bit of a weird way. I've grouped the camera and a block with all of the different song titles on it, and then over time it's keyframed using a timer.
Right.
So over time the block moves upwards, but the relative position of the block. If I put in, if we play, you can see that the block moves upwards even as the camera moves. So it's always like in front of the camera and still moving. So you can see here. There we are. So the block itself is moving up with the camera.
Right.
We'll see it more clearly here. There we go. And that's to make sure that the text is on screen all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
It probably would have been far easier to just keyframe it without having the text in the scene, but I just felt
It's
like
more
grouping
impressive
it
on
with-
this exact stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thomas, well, I can take a moment now. Someone asked, who made up the song names?
No, that was a collaborative effort, but mainly
Us
this
guys.
guy. Yeah, it was us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good ones there.
My
Some good
proudest is Let Me Be Your Cuboid.
ones. Yeah, which we
I
actually
think-
used
I
as
think
one
that
of the
was-
songs.
yeah, it was one of my favourites.
Did we use it? We did. Yeah, that was a disco track, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It had to be.
And actually, yeah, these ads were actually on a different server because the ads were made pre-Dreams release
Yeah.
using Dreams stuff that was obviously like much ahead of early access. So fortunately, these aren't in game, but we've showing you behind the scenes in there.
Yeah, the chat's going like full Bogdan cuboids. They feed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that expression.
Full Bogdan.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
We use Bogdan as like an adjective all the time.
Yeah, you go full Bogdan here.
Yeah, go
and
full
then,
Bogdan.
And as a verb, like I'm gonna proper Bogdan this one.
Yeah, you're right.
Cool, right?
Ascended his body.
So, Bogdan is another figment of your imaginations.
That's so true.
Cool. So that was the text. That was the thing.
Text and
Very
action
nice.
record. That's, yeah. If anyone has any questions, any other questions,
If not, we have a few more ads
we do.
to run to.
Quite a few.
And someone's asked. Richard Ortiz says, "How did you make the poster look so clean?"
Oh, thanks. So clean. That is just. You go into the tools and spray paint, and then onto the guide, and then surface snap, and then just using different shapes. But for Cupboard's head, that's just a load of spheres.
Just piled on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cube itself is just the rounded cube.
The Cuthbert body.
Yeah.
The Cupboard body.
Because that's all you need.
All you need is coverage.
And the
buddy.
little kiss at the bottom there, it's like intentionally kind of a bit messy. To
Yeah, it's give
Yeah.
that effect.
Did he do that himself?
Whose kiss is it? Yeah, that's my next question.
I think
That's a
I think he
mystery.
kissed it himself.
Guesses in the chat, people.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's it for this advert. Shall we go into a different one?
Yes, so a couple of other questions there. Someone asked if this is an album you could actually purchase. I wish.
Yeah.
I would
maybe
love.
soon. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
In the pipeline.
Well, yeah, the Cuthbert coming soon to some point at Never. I absolutely listened to every banger on that track. And yes, you composed the music
I did.
for them.
Yeah.
Mano Marty was asking, are the only tracks we hear the real tracks?
That is true.
Yeah, they are.
The tracks do go on a bit longer because they have like previews, so they like keyframed based on like position in the timeline. So yeah.
Yeah.
We could extrapolate them. We can make them longer and release them officially, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No. Right. Next one. Shall we move on?
Very, very cool.
So
Let's see it.
the next one we're going to look at is what we're going to look at next.
The intro?
No, you want to look at the Impys intro.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to remind everybody of the intro, so please watch.
Live from Guildford, England. Welcome to the first annual Impy Awards. Here are your hosts, Abby Heppy and
That was the intro to the Impys Awards, which was, it's Abby. Hi, Abby. Hi, Abby.
Hello.
So that was the intro. So Dave,
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, Dave.
hand on over.
Let's jump in, see what we've got here.
Wow.
Right. Nice. Now you have a
Just coming to
mic.
join for a minute.
Let's have a look.
Right,
Questions.
so here we are.
What?
Nice big Impy scene. Oh my,
Lisa.
damned my inverted control
The original version
obsession.
of this was something I collaged together out of community assets to show what I wanted, how I envisioned the opening.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just put together by some of our awesome artists, I mean. And to capture some of the best bits of Guildford.
We
Like
did
I
this
tell.
for there's
And the
a
castle.
Guildford Game Festival now in the summer, and I think Rich had put together a kit for that to like
Oh, that's
build
really cool.
Guildford. Yeah, and so we had all these sort of pieces of Guildford lying around.
And then I think it was Dave who just went, we need the Hollywood sign. Was that you, Abby? That might have been
I think that's Abby, yeah.
I shared it to you straight after. Yeah.
Sort of.
So,
I've got a couple of timelines here for the unicorn. I'll show you guys the unicorn and how I'm making it fly around and do all that kind of stuff. I originally just keyframed the unicorn flying over and through this whole area, and I quickly found out that that probably wasn't the cleanest way to make this happen. So what I've done is we have our unicorn hiding behind a building here.
oh.
And
Sitting
inside of
inside
it,
the
yeah. Defying gravity, just hanging onto the side there.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is legit our castle.
Yeah.
That's true, yes.
And if I just unhide it's in the scene, what I have is a block with a tag on it. And our Pegasus, say unicorn, it's a Pegasus, of course it's a Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Pegasus.
We've got a look at and a follower, and both of those gadgets are aimed at the cube here. And the cube is what I'm actually keyframing flying around, and unicorn / Pegasus is just following it around. So actually, if I open up our timeline for the scene here, let's just add it here so I can show you what I mean.
A peggycorn.
There it goes.
Unisex?
That's really. Are you?
So I'm animating a couple of things there. One of which is the cube itself, and the other are the follow settings inside that Pegasus to make sure that it glides the way that it should do. And that just gives it a nice sort of floaty feeling as it goes through
That's cool.
the air and stuff. But then I'm also getting like a banking feeling going on it when it turns around corners, and I'm actually controlling that with the left stick. So I made the unicorn. Unicorn.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say unicorn.
Yeah.
Unisys. Pegacorn.
That sounds like
I like Pegacorn actually.
I like
Use
Pegacorn.
Pegacorn.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, thank you.
So I've wired a control sensor onto the
that's
Pegacorn and a rotator there. And essentially, I'm just going to set something up really quick and I'll demo to show you exactly what I mean. I'm just going to mute the existing animation. And let's go here. So our control sensor is set to be possessable, which means that if I want to take a possession recorder, I can then use the left stick to turn left and right. So at this point, I don't have to worry about what Pegacorn is doing, but I can then only really focus on doing this sort of thing.
Cool.
So I can
cool.
just control the steering to get something I'm quite happy with. And I can make him just go absolutely nuts in this case and say,
Just crash into the venue.
screen shake, blah, blah, blah. That's a wrap. But say that was my first take.
Oh, there
I
is
would,
actually, it's Alicorn.
Grab that possession recorder.
Is a real thing.
Oh.
Well, it's not real. Well, you know what I mean.
One just flew past outside.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really
Then
cool.
that's how I do that. And then it's just a case of setting that into a timeline. And of course, you'll see this random, crazy nastiness start to happen as a result of my bad steering. Someone needs to
God,
pass a
he's
flying
gonna
test.
I like it. I
Oh
like
God, it's coming right for us!
I like its spin.
Nice.
But then at that point, you could do retakes and find one that works for you, which is what I eventually did and wound up with this take, which is the one that wound up in the final version.
Cool.
And so yeah, that's how Pegacorn is being animated. And then we also have characters that were animated at the bottom here,
Pop rats.
which will show up later in other trailers. I'll show you those guys
Oh, that's
those
the
later.
guy from the. Oh, it is.
Yeah, do you recognise him?
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
clever.
I'll dive into more. When I talk about Knockgate, I'll have some
more
words
character
to show off
I like how you
how
guys
that's all
did
done.
the crowd in the back.
Yeah,
So how
how's
you
the
tackle
crowd
a lot
Yeah,
of people
sure.
in one go?
You can handle a lot of business in the back by just adding a bit of fog. It just gives a general bit of noise. And with the flashes going off, it really sort of adds to the effect. But what I'm doing is using a keyframe, wiring a signal generator into it. The keyframe itself is just moving the cardboard cutout slightly, and the generator is just randomly powers it. So we'll just get just random movements. And because it never really repeats in exactly the same way, you never really catch on to that.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like it just goes on and on by itself.
What did you make them out? Like, what are they made out of?
Is it MA? Was it MA that
This
made
was
the
MA that
crowds?
made these,
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
I think they're all just.
I mean, I see
think
like
they're
so
just
paint stroke
strokes.
lighting on the outside. Is it? But the actual sort of cardboard
Yeah,
one
they're all
is also
they're all
really
painting.
cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That's really, really
And
cool.
Very
it
well
has
done.
told me how much she detests making crowds because they're so hard and detailed. So I think that's a pretty amazing solution.
Yeah.
Just cut out a silhouetted bunch of blobs of heads and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, they looked great. I love those.
M. Bergs wanted to see what this scene looked like with the studio lighting turned on.
Shall we find out?
Do you have a
Let's
look?
do it.
Oh, look at that! That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
And I feel like for accuracy, that actually is our town hall and that is our castle. It is
Morning after.
pretty accurate Guildford.
I'm gonna rehide that.
That is
cube.
our office and our theater that we have.
Brilliant.
I don't know about you, Abby, but that music is sending me. is
That was a
is getting
remix
me.
that Jamie
It's like,
did, one of Ed's pieces.
Yeah, the Dreamiverse
Dreamiverse
Dash.
Dash,
Yeah, which
yeah.
already sounded like a fanfare, so I thought, save myself
Oh,
some
that's
time.
awesome. Nice. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
really- it sounded awesome.
And this is like the premix, like Ed went and actually made it sound good.
It sounded good already.
Oh,
but
Good
it was
to
great.
on your stuff. Yeah.
That's really
So
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, I like that we also took the stand, the little step and repeat, which is the place on the side that has the MM logo.
Oh, yeah,
and
this
everything
part
in
here,
the
right?
Impys.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
put that
yeah.
on the green screen after the show, and we all took pictures with it.
Oh,
That's
yeah. Oh, I
great.
need to send
So
those around the
cool.
Yeah, we
office.
just probably
Yeah.
I forgot to
send
send
those
them
around.
around.
To see that.
There was a lot going on that day. I was
For
like-
sure, for sure.
That's really cool. Is there anything else you want
So,
to cover on this one?
not unless anyone has any questions, would you like to see
Have a
the
look.
interior version of this?
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
hand over to Jamie for that part then.
No, the Abby and Tom Impy puppets are not available for remixing.
No.
and they
no.
never will be.
But we may use them for a stream in the future.
That'd be really cool.
No, they have not been destroyed.
No.
Horrible. That'd be
Like,
dark. Imagine if you walked
burn
in on
these
someone
forever.
just destroying our puppets.
I'm going to see
We don't
how
ever
far
destroy
I can
anything
get through
in
this
the
using
game,
inverted controls.
Oh, give it a go.
They have our slippers.
Oh
as
no.
well.
Let's see if I can do the whole
It's
thing.
true, we had Dan put us in slippers.
Oh man, you're going. Oh, look at us just.
Yeah,
I can't
Do
do
you
it,
want-
man. I can't do it. I tried. Nope.
Enoch was going to use them in the Monster Jam.
That's better.
Wow.
Yeah, cool. This was designed by Dan G, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the
Dan G,
entire
that's
thing.
so
really
cool.
amazing stuff.
Yeah, and Miguel on the actual award.
Yeah.
Done in game.
Super shiny.
Or I guess he designed the out of game one, and Dan made it all real.
Slingy asks, "How did you do Ruckus?" We didn't do Ruckus. Ruckus was made by Maury Shiro. We animated Ruckus for little clips, didn't we? Mm-hmm. But everything that Ruckus does in the game is put together by Maury and Kevin.
Yeah, I just put a lot of cameras I just switched through on this one.
Mm.
But also some nice
Yeah.
stage shots.
That
as
works so well for like little cutaways and things like
Yeah.
that happen throughout the show.
Yeah, which was very useful.
We did some last minute color adjustments once we saw it and realized we were like blending into the back. So it was a cool it was the first time that we've really done something like this with the green screen. So it was
Yeah.
a little bit of like testing and making sure that everything worked. Making sure our heights were right for the
Yeah.
camera shots.
Should we see the puppets close up?
Oh, should we?
Should we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we are.
Wow.
Ah,
great.
from a distance.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, from distance, it's like-
nail
No,
it.
it's better closer. Get you.
yeah.
Get in there, go on. In there, man. In there. Yeah.
Shall we just...
No.
Yes. What are those eyebrows? Oh my god.
Wait, what is wrong with my eyebrows? What's wrong with my?
They're really detailed. in
They're very
certain parts.
detailed.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I have big eyebrows. I really don't like my eyebrows.
Why? They're
I don't know.
great.
There's just
You
once
should be proud of them.
once you start focusing on my eyebrows, they're all that you can see. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I can see from this distance.
Yeah.
Still, they're still there, still
And
there,
the
still there.
Animation. I think the puppets were made by Dan as well.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
When walking past Dan's desk at one point and seeing myself on his screen was he just had a load of pictures of me, and I was like, oh,
I'm your biggest
We had
fan.
another whiteboard, like, tell Dan G what we're wearing. Which
Yeah.
is just a really odd thing to have around in the office. And then he made the hat that Emily made for me.
yeah,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah,
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
that's really great.
That hat's so sweet.
Wow.
Very
It's
accurate.
amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even and my jacket is like pinpoint accurate. Did he do the back of the? I don't think he did the back of the jacket. No,
Nope.
I think
Someone said, are you really that much taller than me? I think the answer is yes.
I think
Very tall.
we didn't.
Maybe we could
We yeah. Oh man.
I like how the faces are really detailed and like the clothes are kind of just little blocks. Like you don't
Yeah.
really need more than that. do you?
Yeah, it's really nice.
I think Dan saw the back of my jacket and was like, nah,
Yeah.
nah, not doing it. Not doing it. That's really cool.
I'm really
Amazing.
curious.
We're going to see it on studio lighting as well.
Yeah,
There we are.
that's really cool.
Very nice style just by itself
Yeah.
in the studio lighting. I like it.
Wow, you can have like the balcony scene.
There's so much to it. It's amazing.
Spare
Yeah.
no expense.
Do we keep the theater for next year, or do we just like
We
make
just
it
get a whole new
more
one.
extravagant theater? I actually love
Yeah.
the theater. I'd love to keep it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really
I guess
cool.
we can, as long as we don't destroy it like the Tom and Abby puppets.
Oh, yeah.
To make new outfits for them.
Right, we're going to look at another. Which one do we want to look at next?
Should I take a look at...
Lava cookies.
Lava cookie?
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
Run lava cookies. We'll be right back. It one's great. So the guy from the front of the MPS Awards is the thief,
Yes.
which I
the
only
dude.
just found out right now. So
Yeah, crazy paparazzos are also thieves.
Moral of the story.
in case
Oh, and also they're puppets in this thing. Oh,
yeah. Also,
Terrible.
the voice of the lava cookie is Tom Wilde, isn't it? I believe that's Tom Wilde's. I think Ed brought him into the office. Into his
Are
little
there
room.
any non-Toms who did Theo for the? Oh, Dave.
Yeah,
yeah.
Tom Mansell, Tom Wilde, and then Dave, who did actually, you think he probably did almost every.
yeah.
Yeah, I think every voice.
Every voice I have.
He's an honorary Tom. Tom Dave.
Yeah, if you missed Dave's
a new title.
presentation at the
Tom
awards,
Dave.
where he went
Yes.
through how many different actors, it was
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
It was fabulous.
Cool. Right. What's
Right. Yep. Oh, we're
Oh, right.
Spencer.
Yeah. And then
So, yeah, I've got a nice little filter over the top immediately, just set the scene of sorts. And the little walk over to the front, what I quite like to show is another way to just make your characters just walk really easily without having to actually possess them, but still by using the procedural animation. So I've got a spare old lady in here,
As you do.
as you
you know,
do,
keeping her there for special
Everyone should
occasions.
have at least one.
I have 6. I don't know about you guys, but
And to demo this
Cultivating
really
myself
quick,
as one.
let's open a timeline and put down a keyframe.
Oh, I see. I like what you did there with this. Yeah, nice. The spare old lady, just so you can.
I always have one around when I need to.
It's really not creepy.
No. Barson said, that's creepy.
Not these streams never get weird, ever.
What I'm doing is just keying the position of the puppet and making sure that inside the puppet settings that our procedural animation dials are turned on there. And then if I just copy this keyframe out, and just edit the position. Let's say I wanted to walk just down this way. You would expect it to slide down in that direction, but the puppet will actually kick in with procedurals.
Okay.
And what I'm going to
That's
do
really
is
cool.
just duplicate that key and keep that on so that when the puppet reaches the end, she'll stay in that end position. Now, it's doing the fade in effect thing, but you get
You
the
can see
idea.
what's going
You can
on.
see what's going
Oh,
on
wow.
there.
really nice.
So you literally only need to keyframe the beginning and end point, and then
Yeah.
procedure,
And
that's
That's
in
amazing.
effect, that is how I am making the puppet walk through the kitchen in the same way as she's walking here.
Amazing. Next year, our PSA can be for reserved grandma. No one to bake you lava cookies? Who doesn't have it?
We've got
Their
one.
grandma.
Reserved grandma in the corner of a kitchen.
That is a tip that a lot of people have only just found out. So I think you've made a lot of people very happy there.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So
Yeah,
then you can
she's
spend a lot
keys.
more time on the.
Spare brain.
Yeah. It's a creepy thing just seeing the silhouette in black and white like that. So-
There are 2 questions. What's the reason for duplicating the keyframe instead of just setting the second one as keep changes?
The reason for that is that when you set a second key for keep changes, the amazing maths in this game kicks in and it tries to compute the end, because the end is just like an infinite keyframe once you hit that switch, and it doesn't translate in the same. And to be honest, it's easier for me to show rather than tell, because it takes a second. If that is this, and I'm just going to remove that wiper effect so that we're not getting any funny business at the start. There we go. bit of help have actually changed that end position.
Can we add those?
Yeah. the amount of external UI noises we make on the
Probably do this while sitting at my desk, and I'm probably other guys are looking at me thinking, "Why does Dave make those weird noises?" He must be keyframing. They know when I'm keyframing when to do an action recorder based on my little sounds. So she'll tend to. Oh no, she actually works. I think I've learned something. I think there are instances where it can compute things too quickly and arrive at the end point quicker than it actually states in a timeline. So the reason I usually duplicate that off is just so I know myself in my mind that yes, it is going to take 3 and a bit seconds to reach this spot, and then I want it to stay at the end. And that's the only reason really I'd set it up that way.
It was more of a personal thing. But it would
More
work
of a
without
personal
it, yeah.
thing, but it works, and it's more of a thing to safeguard myself. So if something isn't animating correctly in the scene, then it's easier for me to look at the timeline and think, "Oh right, it's because this is meant to be here," and so on and so forth.
Right.
And the spider way is the timeline for all the animation in the scene, and I like getting stuck into my keyframes. So I usually tend to have, this is the whole puppet animation that you've just seen. And this whole puppet is moving her towards the centre here. And these are the keyframes animating the various body parts. And then we get the appearance from our tricky customer here. And this head I'm actually swapping out in a moment, as you'll see. That. So I'm actually kicking off a key that swaps that head out with a hidden one that's inside of his base head, and a switch which I think is head swap. Name your keyframes, people. When you're dealing with this, make sure you have your stuff named. Your head will thank you for it. There's the eyebrows, there's the head, arms, body. And that's how I'm keeping track of whatever the heck he's doing. And once this switch gets hit, that is wired to something in the puppet itself.
So if you put a switch on a timeline, the playhead goes over, it'll just turn it on.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. And it'll turn off when it's not on the playhead. And because I want it to be on for the rest of this cutscene, the switch just runs all the way through to the end.
Right.
And what it is doing is swapping out this head. If I deleted that keyframe, it'd go back to the old one, and
Nice.
that actually looks even creepier than
Yeah.
it was before.
He's
So
eating his
let's
old
undo that. And so
one
that's
way
how
to
we're
get rid of
handling
it.
head swap. So
Dennis asks, why switch and not keyframe?
just purely, I think at the time I wanted to test it, and when I was testing things, I usually kept the switch outside of a timeline. And the thing about when you're in edit mode is that you can turn things on and off on a whim. You can tell it's starting to have effect there. So I'd usually test things out outside, and when I'm ready to put it in the timeline, I could have just done it with a keyframe, but I thought, you know what, I've got the switch there, I'll just put the switch itself in the timeline and it'll work the same way.
Or not gate, right? I mean, there's
Or not gate,
multiple
yeah.
ways to do
Not
things.
gate will power it
Dreams.
the same way, yeah.
And we'll come back to not gates.
Yeah, we'll definitely get around
That's
to
a
not
great
gates.
segue. What?
Foreshadowing. I knew.
Someone would like to see the finger move. The
Okay. So,
Ooh.
let's just bring that down here. So the fingers, again, naming keyframes, so important. We have where are our fingers? Ironically, in the timeline, that doesn't there's no names on it. Oh, the fingers are named, but the timeline
That's
no.
the most important.
Yeah, the keyframes are named. So yeah, we have our keys here. And what I'm doing is I'm animating the keyframes, just doing one little cycle. And I'm setting the timeline itself to repeat. So he actually plays it through a couple of times. And I've matched it up with a lovely bit of audio there to go with it. So yeah, there's our keyframes on the fingers. And it also helps to save on the thermo a bit. if you're going to repeat something, just animate one cycle and then duplicate it in the timeline, because then you're not adding more keyframes. You're literally just playing the same ones again and again, and that will save a bit of memory for you when you're using keyframes. And that's
so smooth.
That's
as
what's
well.
happening there.
Oh, look at his little face. He's so happy.
He doesn't know the
Doesn't know what he's
doom
just
that
done.
is. This guy is in for a terrible day. But look at him. And even then, when he sort of goes, rather than keyframe the little shake in the body, I'm just grabbing the torso with an action recorder and wiggling that a bit. So with a keyframe, I'm just animating a rise in the body here. Like that. And then the torso takes care of the little shake. Which you'll see there. And that guy is having the worst day as well.
It gets me every
So
time.
he should.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of animating in Dreams I found is that a lot can be done with keyframes. It's great, but a lot of it is also just playing around and seeing what you can to mess with motions that you create with the keyframes with action recorders and other things. And I'll show you a bit more of that again later in the Knockgate stuff. But yeah, that's animating.
So what was going to ask? Did you use any Tap Giles, Tappy G? Did you use springiness for anything?
Yeah, sometimes. I tend to use that a lot, personally, when I want a bit of overlap in action. This animations where you say you want to point at someone, but you want to have a little wobble on the end of something.
Yeah.
So say on the arms, and this is another reason why I quite like to split things off into separate body parts, so that I can key the body in a straight manner. But if I want to, say, add a bit of overlap on the arms, they actually do. You can see the little wiggle going in and out of the keyframe here. So this pose actually has some springiness on it, and that is the actual finger pose.
Right, oh yeah.
So rather than keyframing the arm going up and down and animating like that, it's just one keyframe, which again saves on memory, and I'm just setting that to be springy. So you'll actually simulate the motion of overlapping without having to actually key that. So you'll see that here. Yeah, the arms, they just got a little bit of softness as they do that. So that's where I'm using springiness mostly, and not for anything directly, but any secondary action, it's nice to have a little bit of springiness on there. That takes care of that.
Cool.
Last question before we move on to the next
Yeah.
one. MC Alchemist asked about paint animation. There's not a lot in this, but I imagine when he... that's paint animation.
That is, yeah. And I'm bringing that in much the same way as the head swap on the character.
Right.
Because you don't see the fire until you see the big bulging eyes and everything. And that all occurs, let's bring that in again, right here. So let's just pause on. So here I've got a nice big fire on button, which is turning on the particle effect.
Nightmare.
If I go into unhide, the fire is inside him all along.
That
is such a rocky quote, isn't it? That's like,
really,
the fire is inside you the whole time.
Didn't even plan that one.
Not when it burns.
And
That's
Embers
not when
was
it's...
asking how long the animation took to do for this, for you.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's all blur.
we had about, I think, I can't remember. Okay,
How long can we have to put this
limited
together?
time to do it because we started
Yeah.
talking about these in December, I think, because we had to wrap a whole bunch of stuff, like the game, like just the game that was coming out before we did some of this stuff. So like all the Impys, like ads, interstitials, everything came together in a few weeks, just because. And then the holidays happened, so most people were out for a while. So
I want
pretty
to say
quick.
the bulk was over the course of 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not wrong,
I
yeah.
remember we had like the Impys team on the Impy stuff. For,
Yeah,
like,
must have been about a week or so
solid-
for each.
Yeah, we had
each
one
ad.
good week of like
Yeah.
everybody's time, and then
Yeah.
there was some polish to stuff, and especially some audio work that happened afterwards. Yeah.
Speaking of audio work, what's the story behind the music of this? Does anyone?
Was it Ed's?
This was
Ed?
Ed, yeah, Ed's handiwork, which is fantastic. Because the great thing is, once I did the animation, I could hand it off to Ed, who could then animate right in the same timeline, so everything could just sort of sync up.
Yeah,
really
it sounds
well,
very
which is-
like the
everything's
music
on
is
beat.
following
Yeah,
the
yeah.
action quite closely. So that's
so
cool.
because
you get
he could animate to exactly the timings that I sent, which was and yeah, it just fits in the same timeline.
Sorry, I know we want, but the butterflies. Are they the butterflies? Are just
Those are
they're just
strokes.
a couple of
Yeah,
strokes,
the-
aren't
couple of
they?
strokes. I think that
We first showed how to do that in like one of the like a GDC animation stream we
Yeah.
did with Mike Pang, and I've noticed them done like this in so many creations. So
yeah, that brought him in the Dreamverse. If anything,
keyframed paint strokes.
yeah. The only thing I added was the position of them, because I kept that same animation from the butterflies when I pulled them in from the Dreamverse, and all I had to do was figure out where they were flying.
They go really well with the metal. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I wish I had seen Tom record that.
Did Tom do the metal vocal?
He
Yeah.
did.
Oh, Tom Wilde on the metal
Yeah.
He did about
Yeah.
10 takes of it. So I remember jumping in the timeline in Dreams and seeing like, cookies, cookies, cookies. And there's loads of different ones and thinking, that one. Tried that.
So good.
He once
I wish I could have used them all.
I think he actually did that in my room because I remember him asking me, "Hey Lisa, can I borrow your room over lunch?" And coming back to a series of recordings of. I was like, I'm not even gonna ask what this is for. I don't.
Just let it be.
Yeah, let it be.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is very important.
Yeah.
So is it Knockgate? Should we?
Yeah, which one
we
do we
missed
want
our
to go
segue
next?
to Knockgate, but that was a good.
Knockgate, but
Yeah, should we go
I
Knockgate?
believe- Oh, hang on. Let's go back to the thing and see what we got here.
Got Recenter Imp and Knockgate.
Should we do?
Yeah,
Recenter?
Yeah? Right, let's
I'd love
remind
to
people
do.
of Recenter Your
You have
Imp.
to do the
This is
camera
a
again,
PSA.
sorry.
Impy, what's wrong? Feel like you're drifting away. On the edge? I bet you wish you could take center stage once again. Or maybe not. There must be an easy solution. There is! Recenter your imp. State-of-the-art imp technology has you covered. Just press and hold the up shift button. Don't spend life on the sidelines. Recenter your imp today.
Hello. That was Recenter Your Imp, which was actually, I believe, the last ad that we made.
I think it was. Yeah.
And yeah, as I was just saying while you were watching it, we were in a meeting next door. We had like the stream room is next to a small room, and we could just hear Dave recording the voice, and we're like, "What is going?" Oh yes, wait, yeah, I know what's going on. Right, so yes, Jamie, Recenter Your Imp. This is.
I love the difference between mine and Dave's timelines. Just completely, nothing here is actually named. The switch, keyframe.
Switch, it's a keyframe. What do you think it is? It's a keyframe.
What do they do? I think I have more questions than the chat ever will. But yeah.
So where do you want to start with this one?
So yeah.
Well, I just saw a good question there. How do you incorporate imp expressions? You animate them. This is actually recorded. So I went in and actually like recorded the video and then like did it myself.
On the touchpad.
Yeah, just on the touchpad.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But it had more expressions. One really angry one when it goes into the pool that completely breaks the stage for whatever reason. Yeah. What else? The music was really fun to do for this one because I sort of did like a really weird guitar solo.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can we hear that?
Exactly.
It's great.
What was really cool, I used the action recorder to change the EQ to make it have like a wah-wah effect.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, just to really give off that sort of
Oh,
like
that's
really
awesome.
metal vibe, which was really fun. There's not really much else this one, apart from like
Do you have like a
there's
favorite tip from doing this one?
from this one, I really like making like cardboard cutouts of things. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's so cute.
I mean there are cardboard sheep as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy the cardboard sheep.
Yeah, very realistic. I know,
Oh, I love him.
and the grass as well.
I messed up a little bit at the beginning, and I kept us big and large, so people missed the like animating the imp. So could you just go back over how you did
of course. I just played through it. Like the final recording I did, I just played through it, and then like you actually possess the imp, and then you just use a touchpad. I mean, this one doesn't have many expressions, but I just waited for it to get near the pole, and then used one which was just like its angry emotion, and then just recorded it from there. So nothing complex.
Yeah, apologies for keeping us nice and big on the sofa. That one, that was a bad. That's a real imp. But the rest of the imps in this are like.
There are some fake imps. There's
fake
some
imps.
fake emoji imps here, thinking.
I love them.
Which are really fun to
I love them so much.
There are also some other fake imps over here that have randomly generated colours for some reason. I'm not sure why I did that, but yeah.
One of my questions: how did you do the title screen?
The title screen.
Recenter you in.
Oh yeah, these are just like there's one giant text displayer which is just the border and the backdrop, which is keyframed like to the side, so it like moves out, so you can see the text behind it, which is just hidden there until this goes like on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
I see.
And also the this bit at the end with lots of imps coming together. This is interesting. Yeah, it's it's quite horrifying.
That's a little bit scary. Yeah,
it is.
Weird cult gathering.
Yeah, a cult of imps. But this was really fun to do because they gradually come to the middle, like instead of all following at once. And the way I did that was see if I can actually get into the microchip.
It's the most epic looking microchip.
It is. It's like microchip. The size of the zone goes up to like 50 meters, but it gets there gradually using a timer.
Right.
And each of the imps, they have a tag on them. And the output of the tag, I'm not sure why it's upside down. There it is. Imp found. So once that trigger zone reaches the imp, it activates the second part of this selector, which makes it follow to the center. So the trigger zone is growing in size, and then when it's being found, it does a tag output, and then it rushes to the middle.
Cool, nice. Tab Giles wants to know, how did you get the imp to nod?
To nod? Oh, right. Yeah, you just use a touchpad. Again, you just like wave your finger over it.
Wipe it up and down?
Yeah, up and down, just like that.
Just like this?
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
Magic.
I didn't know about that.
Well, there you go.
An
An animation tip for you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a stream if we didn't all learn something
No,
ourselves.
true. There's always that,
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that one. It's very well done.
Thank you.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Do we want to go to the Not Gates?
Indeed,
Which was your passion project, I believe.
It was a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of grew and grew.
I'm gonna run it. This is Not Gate, the movie.
Not Gate.
She's a gadget looking to make connections, and he's a tag looking for a signal. And now they're both in the big city. And when wires cross, love follows. But they'll find that while love blossoms, signals can change. Will they work it out? Probably not. Not Gate, the movie. Sending mixed signals this spring.
Too Many Toms production.
Yeah.
Dave.
Too Many
Not
Toms
Gate.
production. So with Not Gate, I
Made
put
by
it
a
together.
Dave.
Made by a Dave. I put it together with a bunch of smaller scenes, and I tried to approach it in the way that you'd approach filming something with okay, we're going to shoot this scene and then this scene and then this scene. And to get started, I needed a cast of characters. So this is where the guys from earlier come in.
Right.
And there's quite a few of them. There we go. A little colourful cast.
Who's your favourite?
My favourite's probably this dude here.
I was going to say Signal Generator dude.
Signal Generator. Nice
Bob.
little
Oh.
bald spot at the back. And a stash. Great.
Best
He
one.
has a nice bit of character to him. Okay. The thing about those paparazzo characters is that they were... I really love the style. I think it was Mike that made them initially. And they're really easily editable, which I really like. So, and that was done simply by sculpting into the puppets. I didn't really have to change the proportions so much. But if I wanted to make this guy a thief, it's just a case of just spray painting him. And let's see, let's keep that up. Do that a bit. Ignore the back. For the sake of example.
Jada, the gadgets
something
on the
myself,
characters
yeah.
are actually they're made, aren't they? Someone was
Yeah,
asking
it's
how do you
not
get
the
gadgets?
Yeah,
gadgets.
yeah.
They're not the real. They're
The
sculpted.
gadgets aren't pulled in.
Taking a leaf out of a
model
Menjo's
those.
book. With his dreams under the hood.
Yeah.
A tip I like to do when, say if I want to give a hat to a character is I'll copy the whole head off. I'll just make sure that's turned off. There we go. Delete what I don't need.
Oh,
I need the big
you
bit.
need the head.
Yeah. Putting that back on the character and scaling it up just slightly. And then going into that head. And actually, you know what? Let's make it black anyway. And with our stamp, just taking a bit off, and that should mean that essentially got a shape that is the size of the character's head that will connect as a hat.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Ah, cool.
Group it together. There we go. And that's a very, very rough start of how I started creating the thief character back in the Lava Cookies ad. And then it's what I used to basically create all of these characters. And the great thing is, once they're all there, you can then just go in and kind of give them a haircut.
Customize them.
Yeah, customize them up. I'll
That's
do it. That
great.
guy, 'cause his hair's perfect. I mean, look at that.
It's great.
That's so true.
But the gadgets are actually a bunch of props themselves.
Yeah.
I love how you've laid this all out. It's so nice and neat.
Which, yeah. I think one of the guys was a camera gadget, and I thought, I don't want him playing a camera, he looks too tough, so I made him a signal generator. Or a force supply, I think he's a force supply. Because, of course. And then I wanted locations for it, so one of them is assembling cities, and it's one of my favourite things to do, just pulling stuff out of the Dreamverse of buildings and things, plopping them down and just making something up really easily. So this is kind of what I did for a couple of scenes inside of it. Starting with characters, giving them a scene, and then eventually going through into different scenes for...
There's a question
Okay.
of how you made the lady hit the computer keyboard.
Yeah, sure, let's take a look at that. That will be this one, I believe. Great. So the animation for that is inside here. So we've got it's a one shot, so that's that. Oh, that's his animation. So I'm guessing this one will be his.
Also, how did
Oh,
the
that's
scene
kind
load
of
and
okay.
transition so quickly?
Well, the trailer for Not Getting the Movie was actually taking a page from the community book of creating trailers, and we actually created the trailer. We created all the scenes and then created the trailer through video editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it could be nice and snappy, but everything was still made in Dreams.
That's right.
Yep. That is exactly how we
Oh,
program.
that's a blink.
That's a good point. Quietly wrong. Dennis in the chat. Jamie, not the keyframes aren't named here. Yeah.
No. So this is where
You
taking
caught
the
us.
time. There we go. That's how I'm doing it. So
I feel better now.
Damn it.
Curses.
So yeah, I've just got a looping timeline here with the hands just frantically hitting
Yeah.
the keyboard.
Again, saving yourself on thermo by having it loop.
Yep, yep. Have another timeline that's empty. Another one's empty. I think the idea was I needed timelines to other parts of the body, which wasn't the case. I've just got one keyframe for the head, which has probably got a bit of wobble on it. Yeah. And then what I'm doing is I'm just moving the torso around with an action recorder, and the head, by extension, will have a little bit of motion on it. It looks a bit more independent, and the hand's just going.
It's cool.
So yeah, it's actually quite minimal, really. If you think about it, it's just 3 keys for the hands, wobbling the torso, and a key on the head just to give it a bit of wobble.
I like how she's typing with her palms.
It must have been really cohesive so
Yeah.
far.
In order to animate Puppet, should the controller, sensor, etc. be disabled? I'm never sure the best place to start so it doesn't mess up.
It depends if you want to use the controller sensor to animate the puppet. Like, I think I'm using it for this guy to walk him through the scene. So you'll see him like, okay, so I just possess the character and I walk through and record a take with that character. But in other instances, like our desk-bound characters, whoa,
Is that a typewriter? Wow. Old school.
yeah.
That's how I tweet.
Her
sometimes.
output
It's
is like
easier to
nothing.
sometimes
You
just
know?
use an action recorder and just literally move the part of the body you want. Or you could just use keyframes like earlier and walk the character through the scene that way. So there's a few ways to do something. I think this guy's just got a general
Yeah. Gonna examine the file cabinet.
examining something.
crisis.
I'm working. I am working.
I am doing an important job right now, type of thing. And I might give him a couple of keyframes just to
Yeah.
just for his hands. But yeah, just keeping it minimal, putting it on a loop, and
I love your approach to setting this all up as a because you're setting it up for a video rather than for
Yeah.
an actual in-game thing. This is a really, like, if you just look at the collection again, I think it's a really smart way to do it. I love that.
it's there's a bunch of scenes that didn't get used, or that I cut out for time and stuff. But there's a bunch of little shots that end up on the floor, but you can still arrange them as if it was telling a whole story. Like, there's going to be a shot of them laying on the cab on a rug in the park. All these typical kind of scenes that take place. And a lot of it is just placing characters around the scene. I do not know what's happened to that guy, isn't it? And I don't even know what this guy's doing at the park. I mean, he's not in a happy mood. Anyway.
Letting off some
Cheering himself up by
Yeah.
going for a walk in the park.
Exactly.
happy.
Amazing.
Yeah, but for the sake of cleanliness, I kept what I needed to animate in a master timeline, and everything else had its own little bit of animation near where the character was. So only had to really worry about what was happening in the main bit.
Nice. Oh, there you go.
And also given a couple of seconds either side of the clip, which would appear broken.
Yeah.
But it does mean you get the advantage of knowing where exactly you want that little scene to start.
Yeah.
But this one looks a bit, whoa, what's going on? Oh, now I want it to start there, and I want it to cut now. But then you have that little those few extra frames that give you that option.
Yeah. It's actually really nice to see something done like this that's just made for, like animating something outside of Dreams. It's really cool, Dave.
You can really,
Dave, quick
Put something together
question. Jim Marston asks, how do you just focus on the one thing that you're working on at the time, so you make everything else invisible? So that's a general Dreams tip, but you did it in one of the scenes. So if you would just focus on one
so if
character.
I scope into a character, like our main character, you get these options here. Puppet mirror generally means that if you edit something on one side of the puppet, the other side will, mirror. The other one is hide everything else, which is cool if you've got a lot of stuff in your scene, like, whoa, and you're worried about everything running smoothly, or you want to get a good feel for timing in a scene, so that when you do hit play mode, it'll behave the way you want it to.
So this and the Please Hug Me ones were edited in post, and the other ones were one shot in.
That's right,
game.
Yeah.
So there's a combination. Because people were asking, there's a combination. I think these two were the ones that we edited outside as like traditional movie trailers, and the others were created as single scenes. Because these with like loading times and stuff, it would sort of ruin the trailer flow.
So I'll generally have a master timeline, and in that timeline, that's where I'll keep the cameras for the scene, so I know exactly, how to time it out, everything like that.
Amazing.
But, that's essentially Lockgate. Setting
That's
up
cool.
characters.
Amazing, yeah.
It's handy to have all your props and characters as their own elements, which is one thing I really like about Dreams, is that not everything just has to be a scene. And it actually is an advantage to make sure that your characters are labelled as characters and your contraptions are labelled as contraptions, and same for environments, and then everything else can get updated into a scene.
Yeah.
And
Well,
essentially,
I have good news. Dorian just got here just in time for us to end the stream.
Yeah. Hi, Dorian. Bye, Dorian.
Yeah, nice. He must have been in a safe, mustn't he? Just like.
He's like, I need to leave. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you.
So cool.
Thank you, Dave and Jane.
Yeah, thank you guys.
They were so. I'm getting emotional thinking back to it all now. It was. It was like look at
all those toms.
Too many
Yeah.
toms.
Let's just quickly look at all those toms.
Look at all those toms.
Wow.
Tom, Dick, and
So
Harry.
many
Tom, Dick, and
Some
Harry.
of those are real
amazing.
toms. Some of those are
Tomcat.
fictional
Yeah.
toms.
To me, to you, I know that guy.
It's amazing that we
Yeah.
actually ran out of toms.
Yeah.
It's the first time it's ever happened. What's our stream next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, I believe, Ed is popping by.
Yes, to show
We've
us
mentioned him
how
a lot
to
this stream. And
compose music.
Yes,
Nice.
to
Yeah.
do a music track.
And it's a really
Right.
good fun for people that started out. Part of the reason I asked Ed to come on to show sort of the basics of creating a music track is because some of his advice has really helped me learn how to make music. And so I think it'd be great next week if he can share some really great tips for creating. And we will be back Thursday. So.
Yes, with creation.
Oh, I'm slightly transparent.
Oh, you
that's
are?
exciting.
Yeah,
Oh,
indeed.
good.
That yellow-green.
Yeah. So.
Shout out to Tomato. That's a genius.
Legend.
That's,
Cool.
oh, goodness.
Tomato.
Tom Mansell. That's
But you
it.
must be sent
Yeah.
That's not
Okay,
real.
we're gonna
Yeah.
list
That's
Toms
not real.
while we say goodbye.
That one's gotta be
So,
fake.
I wish we had a fade out while we
Okay.
Toms.
Bye.
See you on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.